And we're back. Thanks for joining us on the Coruscant Knights podcast. We're happy to have you here. My name is Cooper, and alongside me, as always, is Mark
Hello there.
and Jack.
Good morning, everyone.
And today, as sad as it is, we have reached the end of our rewatch series, finishing with episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. We've got a great discussion in store for you today. Just a reminder, we are on social media, Instagram, TikTok, Patreon as well. Go support us on Patreon if you want exclusive podcasts and behind the scenes, etc. YouTube, we do polls on YouTube. So we actually posted one a couple days ago. The question was simple. Is the Rise of Skywalker a good conclusion to the Skywalker Saga? An overwhelming majority, 93% of respondents said no, it is not. So we will get into that discussion today, no doubt. And of course, thank you as always to our patrons, Ben and Nikita, for their continual support. Guys, it's time to start the final positives and negatives discussion of the series. And also, before I even begin, thank you to everyone who's supported us throughout this journey and who has joined us throughout this journey as well. We've seen a lot of growth in the last couple of weeks, and that hasn't been possible without everyone who's subscribed on YouTube or listened to the podcast or even had a look at one of our TikTok videos. So we thank everyone who's joined us on this journey and who is continuing to support us. And we've got great things in store. Ahsoka's coming soon. We've got some good debates coming up soon. So
That'll be fun.
all good things to look forward to. But from the Coruscant Knights team, we do thank you guys a lot.
We do.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, we haven't really
This
discussed this.
rewatch series, it's been long, but it's felt quick, hasn't it?
Yeah, I know. Well, just thinking back over it, because we've done a couple of hour-long podcasts, I think we'd probably be over the 10-hour mark of reviewing
Stuff, maybe.
It'd be
the
close. I don't know if it'd be just at 10 yet.
Yeah,
maybe not just, but I mean, well, look.
How it progressively got longer though.
Yeah, that's true.
Like our first Phantom Menace one, was that like half an hour, 40 minutes? It was like
Yeah, but I think we've gotten better at breaking down
We've
everything.
picked them apart a lot more as we've gone along.
Definitely
Yeah.
destroyed a lot of these movies.
Yeah,
Very critical on a lot of them.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't really talk about it, but does anyone want to go first? Or
Yeah, I'm very happy to.
okay, all right, sure. Feel free to go ahead. Start
Yeah.
with whatever you would like.
All right, let's spice it up. So I'm gonna actually go with positives first and leave negatives to last and end on a sour note. No, I'm kidding. For my positives though, it's actually I think a lot of the viewers and listeners might be a bit surprised considering how much I hate the sequels and didn't like The Last Jedi. But I actually thoroughly enjoy this film in terms of just for the pure enjoyment of it. Like aside from like the plot and how Emperor returns and how it's not a good conclusion to the whole saga, but in its own movie, I think it does a good job in ending the sequel characters kind of journey, which is a bit more of a technicality, I guess you could say, instead of the whole saga. Um, I always like to say to people if they say, "Oh, Rise of Skywalker is worse than Last Jedi," I don't believe it is even close in my opinion. Unlike if you do like The Last Jedi, fair enough. But in my opinion, this movie at least has a lot more enjoyable action scenes. The music is good. The pacing's good because I don't want to be a slow. It's not a slow burner. They get to the point very fast. They get you through the plot in the first however many minutes is it, Cooper?
Like 20 minutes.
Yeah, 15, 20. It's crazy. Like people might not say that's a good thing, but when I think it's the last movie of like the trilogy and stuff for the sequels, I think it's good just to get into the nitty-gritty of it. So in my opinion, it's the best version we've seen of Kylo Ren slash Ben Solo.
Yep.
He's definitely the most intimidating he's been, in my opinion. I think the issue of him repairing his helmet is quite a I don't know if it's I don't think it's a negative because I love his helmet and I love the resemblance to real life what's it called, like ceramic kind of fixing something that's broken, kind of thing. I do like
Yeah.
that kind of aspect of it. However, I do feel like the main issue that this movie has, which I'll go into depth later, is that it's trying to fix stuff from the past movie because it's two different directors, which I think is what the sequels struggle with the most. But aside from that, Rey in this movie, look, she's pretty much the same as what she's been throughout the franchise. However, I do feel that she's less, in my opinion, irritating in this one. I don't know. I did enjoy her a bit in this one. I thought she was a bit more she had a bit more of a meaning in terms of finding out who she is. When the last Jedi, I felt like she was sidelined, kind of just doing her own like 5 seconds of training. It didn't feel like, you know what I mean? I feel like this one she actually had something to go to on like 4, which I thought was a bit better, giving her a bit more character depth. Poe was amazing in this movie, in my opinion. He finally gets the rank of general. I didn't like how he gave the partial ranking to Finn. We talked about this beforehand, but I still don't think Finn's qualified enough to become a general. The previous general was Princess Leia.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't think that's really good, but I get the bromance that they have going on, so I let it.
And he did start out as a cleaner.
Yeah, as a janitor for the First Order. That's like bottom tier. But anyway, Poe Dameron, really good. Piloting, really good. I love the visuals in this movie. Exegol's visuals are unreal. I love lightning and I love darker kind of visuals in Star Wars movies, especially the start when you had Kylo Ren come from Mustafar, then come land on the planet when the music's kind of like a faster pace and you see the old Sith temple ruin stuff. It was just, the atmosphere made me get intrigued in the first place. This is what The Last Jedi struggled for me to do, is grip me into the story and stuff, what is happening. In this one, I was invested because of the atmosphere, the music, the cinematography, and even the intrigue of what's going to happen. I do like to see what's going to happen next for being the end one. Some other positives, a bit more vague. I do like I don't like how the Death Star is on the Endor planet ruins. I don't know how do you explain it. What it's a neighboring planet, moon, whatever it is.
The wreckage is on the moon.
Moon, yeah. I don't like that because when we watched the Death Star get exploded, it would have just obliterated into pieces.
Yeah.
But
I also agree with that.
Yeah, but aside from that, I did enjoy the water-esque like waves hitting, crashing the when they were fighting. I liked that. It was just a good visual difference compared to Revenge, even with the Mustafar. You got water planet and you got lava planet. So I really enjoyed that. This might be a bit controversial, but I really did enjoy how Luke was portrayed in this one. I know it's a bit of a backtrack from the last one, just because. But then the issue is that he should have never been like he was in the last one, which we discussed in last week's episode. So this is the one where he's hopeful. He goes, I've made mistakes. I shouldn't have hid away from the Sith. I should have faced them myself. Now it's up to you to do this. And he's the Luke Skywalker we all know to love. So it's a nice cameo that makes me feel a bit more complete instead of from the sour taste that was left in my mouth from the last movie. So I'm speeding through these positives quite quickly, but I think Finn. I'll mention the main characters. I'll finish it off with Finn. Finn, in my opinion, in the sequels as a whole, was a bit sidelined, but I still enjoy his character. I think they could have elaborated on his kind of struggles and hardships, as Cooper was saying, in terms of being bred from the First Order and taken away as a child. However, I think they didn't actually give him much character details and depth like they intended to. Which led him to be kind of a bit more of like he's just a regular trooper almost, just with more screen time. Because having the idea of a First Order, I wouldn't say trooper because that was his first mission, a First Order companion or whatever you could say, turning into a Force sensitive, which was a bold decision for them, Force sensitive being, because a lot of Star Wars media now, I see your reaction, Cooper. A lot of Star Wars media nowadays has characters becoming Force sensitive for no reason, but this was before that, so that's fair enough. But I really enjoyed how they were going to make this character. I was interested to see how he went, but once again in this movie, kind of was just there being the extra. But I did enjoy how he was the sole character basically to destroy the command ship, which controlled the other ones in the final battle by blowing it up with their own cannons. I did enjoy that he actually had an impact on the direct plot and issue at hand, which most of the time he's always doing the side missions,
Yeah.
which I don't enjoy.
I feel like
So
he got sidelined a lot throughout the sequels.
yeah, but I think this one he actually did like physically did the most. So yeah, other than that, I think I'll leech onto other people's some of their positives, but that's just off the top of my head. But
Yeah.
overall, this movie is not great by all means, but it is fun and enjoyable to watch. So
All right,
yeah, that's
Very good.
I'll
mine.
go next because mine are just very quick and brief and basically similar to what Jack said. I'll start with Poe because I think Poe was really good in this film, and I've always liked Poe throughout the sequels.
Mm.
And he's probably been the most consistent, I'd say, throughout the three movies.
Yep.
Mhm.
And I think he's just generally Poe is a really cool character. And then the other two I was going to mention because I am, as I've said, not a huge fan of this film. So I will mention the music and the visuals because, as always, John Williams with the music does amazing. And Disney with their budget, I mean, you'd have to expect good visuals in this movie. And when I think of this movie, I mean, the main thing that comes to my mind is actually the force lightning that Rey uses and that Palpatine uses. And I think that's just simply because of the visual effects. Like it looks really cool, the force lightning, and it looks really powerful. And
I'll just make a comment on that quickly. And I said this last week about the sound design on The Last Jedi. When Palpatine uses his lightning to shoot up into the sky,
Like
it's got this like echoey nature. It's just such a deep
like a reverb
noise.
sort of thing.
Yeah, and it's so cool. We haven't really heard
Yeah.
anything like that before, and that just kind of adds to the magnitude of the power of it. So I applaud the sound design team
Yep,
like tenfold
definitely.
because they're so good.
Also, I think I'll make mention of just I like the fact that I don't know how I feel about it story wise, but I do like how they had all the voices of a lot of Jedi at the end.
Yeah.
I just thought that was a nice little touch.
I agree. That was nice.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then if Cooper has anything that I feel like adding on, I'll do so.
All right. Well, I've got to be straight with you guys. I've got a pretty long list of things, but I'm going to try and trim it down as best as I can because there are some things that I don't think are worth mentioning, but there is definitely a lot that I think is worth mentioning. So, like what you guys said, Poe is like what Mark said, he's definitely the most consistent character throughout the films. I love that he finally gets to be involved in kind of the main storyline. In The Force Awakens, he was kind of there to help Finn get out, and then you know his story. And then The Last Jedi, he was kind of leading the mutiny and everything. This one is directly involved with the main characters in the main plot. And I love the dynamic of the trio. I know they're fighting and whatever at the start, but you can see that they're really bonded together, and especially when it comes to the end when they are embracing in a big hug, that really shows, you know, how close they are and what they've been through together and what they've triumphed over. And I think that they've done that really well. I wouldn't go to the extent that they are the best trio of the Star Wars saga, but I'd probably put them in second place. I'm
Wow.
not going to elaborate which is better and which is worse, so we'll leave it at that.
That is that's just as bad as The Last Jedi. Oh,
No.
killing me here. I'm not even gonna
Hmm.
survive the podcast.
Like what you were
Cooper
saying
with the
before,
hot
Jack.
takes.
What's new? About the starting bit, Jack. And I like that the movie establishes the threat, the mission, the where the characters are, and the relationships all in the first 20 minutes. I think that's really good. I think that's what good
Yeah.
movies do. But I
That's another
found when
thing
I
I
was
actually forgot to mention, sorry, just how quickly they get into it. It's a
Yeah.
nice change of pace from a few of the other films.
I agree. It is a nice change. And I guess they needed to do that because they're focusing so much on what happens at the end. I kind of found myself throughout the movie going, oh, geez, there's still 2 hours to go. Oh, there's still an hour and a half to go. Oh, there's still an hour to go. What's happening?
Yeah.
Didn't like the Snoke clones. I thought that was a useless subplot. I said this last week. I didn't like light speed skipping. I think that's just overpowered as heck. Like, seriously. Small TIE fighters. First of all, have TIE fighters always had hyperdrive engines?
No. TIE fighters
Okay.
have always been short range fighters.
Yeah. So I understand Well,
I
I
find
don't
it
even.
funny how you say that, but then you enjoy light speed.
No. So I liked the hyperspace ramming because it made sense for a big ship to be able to do it. But light speed skipping, you got to think coming in and out of hyperspace at like so quickly that
Light
shouldn't
speed.
make sense. Yeah, I know.
Ray did say after it's dangerous and you can't do it all the time.
Yeah, I know.
So you assume that he's like one of the best pilots to be able to do that. The TIE fighters following doesn't make sense. That's the only thing I'll give you on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've never been a fan of that, and it
No.
looks cool on the screen, but
Hmm.
nah. What's next? I know you didn't want to probably talk about this character, but I feel like there was a disservice done to this character simply because of the backlash received in The Last Jedi. And I do not think it was fair because I think she's a great character. I do not like, and I will never stand with JJ over what he did with Rose. She got sidelined so hard in this movie. I mean, actually, let me just check if she's in the screen time segment.
Mhm.
Um, uh, no, she's not. That's good. She had like 2 minutes of screen time throughout the whole thing. 2 minutes.
Jeez.
She's a great character, and she could, with my scene change later, she could have
will-
easily been incorporated into that.
I will elaborate on that topic quickly.
Yeah.
I do not think she's a great character. I'm not even close to being a great character. But however, since she's established in the universe already from the previous movie, I do agree that she does deserve more screen time for the actor's sake too. Apparently, they did have scenes that they cut with her in it.
Yeah.
He said that too. However, though, I will not agree with the great character. Like, she doesn't offer you anything more than what Finn already does. Like, she doesn't offer anything, and I'm sorry about that. But that's why I'm saying I didn't like The Last Jedi, because they introduced characters I thought wasn't written properly.
Okay.
So I do agree that she does deserve more. You can't be sidelining a character that had a lot of screen time last movie, and for the actor's sake, it's also a job.
I
Oh,
agree
yeah.
with that.
The
Yeah.
more you're in it, the more money you get, kind of thing. So I definitely think that's a bit stiff on her end, just because people didn't enjoy her character.
Yeah.
Someone like me, but I still think she deserves more screen time
Yeah.
for that.
I agree with that.
I'm just curious, actually, what do you guys think about what they did with Leia in this movie?
Good, actually.
Yeah.
I actually, they did get permission to.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, I liked it then because I thought, look, The Last Jedi with the weird flying space Leia, look, if that's how I didn't like that scene, but if she died like that, then so be it. If that's the turning point for Kylo, right? But I always thought she was the only bit that is connected to Kylo for the good side. It was never Han, I don't think. I feel like Han was always a disapproving, not that caring father, when Leia was the one that connected to Kylo a lot. So having her be the main reason for him to come back to the light is perfect in my opinion. It's poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah. I
It
think
is
that,
poetry,
that
right?
that's true. Yeah.
I do like that bit.
Another negative. Oh, wait, no, I'm not even.
Not doing
Oh
negative.
my God. Sorry. I realized that I was going through positives and negatives at the
You
same
can do
time.
both.
Yeah. I did
do both.
notice
That's
that.
all right. How about I be a segue and you guys it can transition into the negatives. So I'll go through positives and then I'll
So
kind of.
you did negatives
Yeah,
after.
I'm sorry. I've kind of just my
was
list is
wondering why you
all
said
messed
light
up, so
speed
I was
jumping.
just going in order.
Yeah, light speed
I'm so
jumping.
sorry.
It's like speed jumping through his
Okay,
positives and
I'm gonna
negatives.
speed through these ones. I liked when Ray flipped over Kylo's ship. That was cool. I like that Finn jumps over things unnecessarily a lot.
Mhm.
If you notice in that one long shot
Okay.
where they're running through the First Order Star Destroyer, he jumps kind of over but around a lot of stormtrooper bodies. It's kind of funny.
Oh,
He jumps like a video game character.
He does like a little.
Yeah.
Mario.
Yeah.
I really like Finn. That's all I said on that one. The lightsaber fight, the final one, loved it. I think it was perfect. No music, really. I know we've seen videos of putting Duel of the Fates in there and everything, but I think having it no music was equally as effective. I think it kind of built the intensity because you didn't really know what was going to happen. And certainly when I was in the cinemas, the last thing I expected was Rey to go bang with the lightsaber into Kylo. So
Because he won that fight.
he did. And what I love, there is one specific moment in the fight where you see the turning point, where Kylo absolutely just goes fully insane, and he's not gonna lose. And it's such a powerful like strike but he stops with it. I don't know how to describe it, but
I know the one
if you
you
watch the fight again, you will notice the one specific moment where the fight is won.
Yeah, and the music, and then there's music that kicks in because it's like every time
Yeah.
he hits her with the lightsaber, she's like blocking. However, though, I do believe that the music. I know you're an avid fan of not having music in the scene or whatever, but man, the music in the prequel fights and even the original trilogy,
Yeah.
they elevate. And having like an intense music for this one would have made me feel more worrisome even for Kylo. You know what I mean? Like, because you don't know who's gonna. For this one, I don't know. It's kind of like it's not. It's keeping me interested because it's a lightsaber fight, but the music would have made me more attentive, kind of about what's happening. You know what I mean? It would elevate.
Speaking of lightsabers, do they actually mention? I don't really remember if they mention about the Luke slash Anakin's lightsaber being rebuilt and fixed.
I don't.
Nah.
I feel like that's a bit of a missed opportunity of something.
Oh yeah.
True. But that's another one I said before about how JJ just wants to redo everything Ryan did. He basically did what you did, Mark, and just said it's not canon. It's, he just basically this is basically like
The issue with that is you can't say one's not canon, but the one after it is
that's what
canon.
I'm saying. He
To be
basically
honest, though, like this movie's already just under 2.5 hours long, and it's to be honest, I don't really know why they did that in the Last Jedi. Like Ryan decided to do that.
break it. That's what I'm saying.
I
He
guess
does
I guess the only thing it contributed to was the illusion is like, oh, why does Luke have that lightsaber? You know, when he goes to fight Kylo, because we've just seen it be split in two. Why does he have it and it's working?
Someone could have had Rey make her own lightsaber and bring Leia's one too, and then give him that one for the fight.
Yeah.
Could have done that instead of having Rey just ignited at the end. Could have had her use the orange one against Emperor and give Leia's to Kylo. Would be meaningful, maybe too.
Yeah, I guess so.
Never mind.
There is a line, and I will just because we're on the topic of lightsabers, there is a line that I will mention later in the quotes, but Rey says, I will earn your brother's saber one day."
Yeah.
But I have an issue with that because she doesn't really treat it like it's that important.
No, she never really
Just kind of
that much.
She doesn't really have that. She doesn't think there's that much significance in it, even though it's Luke's. So I don't know.
I think not seeing significance in old things is one of the biggest drawbacks in the sequels.
Well, let the past die. That's what
that
Kylo always says.
That is not how you do it. You're meant to ease the progression between it. You can't just be like,
you can't have it abrupt.
It's like they're going at a steady pace, steady pace, steady pace. Boom. It could have been like this.
Yeah. Could have been, yeah.
You know, like they didn't ease the characters away. They didn't give them as significant endings as they probably could have, aside from Leia. I feel like she got the most impactful one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I know Harrison didn't want to be Han for like ever, but like his death was good, but like I didn't care so much because it was in the first one. So it's like we didn't even get to see how he develops, even from like you just see a brief portion of who he was after Return, but you don't get to actually experience it that much. So that's what annoyed me a little bit.
Well, you're doing the Battlefront 2 campaign, snuck it in there.
Okay, but talking movie-wise, it's a movie reviews. And what was I gonna say? And we all know what happened to Luke, so anyway, continue, Cooper, before you get.
Oh yeah. Okay. I said I was gonna speed through, I really am this time. Like Han and Kylo's redemption. I like the flashback with Leia and Luke. I think Luke lifting the X-Wing was fantastic. I like the preparation of the Resistance. I think Ben running and shooting like Han is fantastic as well.
And when you got the lightsaber like this.
Yeah. His mannerisms are very Han-esque. The Citizens Fleet is awesome. I didn't really care for it. I thought it was a bit tacky, and I guess since it was was it after? Yeah, it was after Endgame. I'm like, oh, we've seen this before. This feels like a repeat.
It was the same year, was it? Or no?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's a bit
December.
annoying.
Yeah. Anyway,
I think.
Yeah. Well, I think it's more effective now that.
If we're comparing it to Endgame, I'll just quickly say that in Endgame, it feels a lot more important because there's all these characters we know. But in this, it's just a bunch of ships pretty much.
You're giving them a taste of what one of my negatives and what I thought would have been better for that scene actually. So interesting.
yeah, I'll elaborate. There was a scene in the trailer that showed the initial resistance fleet arriving to Exegol, and I thought, yes, this is awesome. Let's see the small band of resistance go up against this massive empire like the fleet. That's what I want in the story. And then uh,
It's
I don't
unreal.
dislike that the massive fleet came in, but I think just the whole idea, even in Rogue One at sixth floor, it made 10 men feel like 100.
Yeah,
The
Yeah.
whole idea of being so skilled and talented to be able to make a difference as a small group.
true, but unrealistic standards when you have that many Imperial Star Destroyers. I think if
Yes.
they had a bit less of them, it would have made more sense. But like, it's physically impossible to make 10 men feel like 100 in that scene.
Yeah,
They would
quite. Yeah, it is.
be-
Yeah. Um, I liked Palpatine. Sorry,
Oh,
I know that might be controversial. I thought his inclusion in the story wasn't good, but I thought he was executed pretty well.
just said the
But
same
there is
word.
an issue. There is an issue I have later with Palpatine, so I'll get into that. The Jedi scene was good. Kylo's. There's a moment where Kylo realizes he has to die when he's hugging Rey, who's dead. I like no. I like that realization where he's like he has to die.
It's
That's
funny.
what he has to do.
You
That's
already
his
know.
destiny.
Yeah, Cooper's got a taste of what my scene change is. So
Last positive, I like the hug at the end. That is the only scene, and I'll stick by this. That is the only scene in all of Star Wars that makes me cry.
nope. Anakin's betrayal will always be the only one.
Okay, well, I mean, I didn't cry that, but I don't know. I like that scene, so
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I don't. If the characters were done justice, that would have been perfect.
that's true.
Like
Well,
like I said to you before, it's like some of these characters were sidelined so hard. I can't imagine the actors being that sad about finishing their time on the
Mm.
set. You know what I mean? Like
uh,
I couldn't differentiate in that scene the actors from the characters, which I should be doing every time. But no, now knowing that every single one of them, aside from maybe like Poe and Kylo, actors Adam and Oscar, the other two were not very happy.
I'm pretty sure Oscar has said he didn't like it either.
Maybe, but yeah, even Daisy came out with a bit of controversial hot takes, even though she's coming back again. And obviously, we all know John's perspective, so it's
Mhm.
like I couldn't really feel that emotional for because I was so disappointed in a way. You know what I mean? Yeah.
alright. I'm done with my positive. Do we want to move into negatives?
Yep.
Yeah, well, I should have done them. I should have done them to counter your positives because now I can't remember them all.
Oh,
But because there were a lot.
It's all right.
or
Well,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
you can butt in when we do the negatives and
All
counter.
right, that's a good idea.
You want me to
Maybe what if I just do a few quick ones
start?
that I remember that I don't like.
Mhm.
I think one of the biggest ones was just then when Cooper was talking about that scene with Kylo and Rey at the end. And I've made it clear to you two before. I don't know if I've said it on the podcast how much I hate the concept of the what's called Reylo.
Yeah.
Kylo and Rey. I don't know if even falling in love is the
What?
right term, but
No,
So that's the thing. I don't know if that was it. But even then,
but thank
are they
you.
what's their relationship? Is it meant to be like a?
yeah, that's
I
what I
hate that
think.
I'm
That's
saying
what
this,
I don't
but
like. It's
the
just too
sister thing?
confusing.
They're not related.
No, they're not. But that's kind of the vibe I got in the Last Jedi that they were, or not. They're not
No,
friends.
they're
They're
just
not
not
friends.
friends. But the thing is more like I actually was saying this before. I think throughout the movies, if you go off that, Carlo has always been willing to get Rey on his side, and I don't think it was purely because of obviously Jedi power and stuff. I think he might have also had an underlying kind of like love for her or whatever you want to call it. And also because of you also have them as a dyad. So I guess they've always been connected no matter what kind of thing. If you think of it like that, it's like the classic old Shakespearean, oh, like not Romeo and Juliet because they're opposites, but like in terms of they're always meant to kind of be, no matter
Mm.
even if it doesn't make sense. So that's what my perspective on that is. I didn't think that was the worst bit of that scene, not even close, in my opinion. But yeah,
Mm.
Oh, actually, I can't believe I forgot this one. This is the biggest one. Palpatine returning.
yep, there we go.
Yeah,
There we go.
I think the entire Star Wars community can all agree that that was just silly, stupid.
It's funny how they thought that was going to be a positive.
Yeah, I know.
Making
Like
that choice. Like, no, it doesn't make sense. It like it
it's not even lazy writing, it's below that.
Yeah, it's
It's like, let's just bring back the main villain from the
the other
entire saga and bring him back. And then just in doing so, completely disregard the entire importance and legacy of literally all the six first movies.
literally. That's another reason why we don't like the sequels, in my opinion. Or not you, Cooper, but me and Mark. Mark and I think it's just it's the whole sequel trilogy just feels like a fever dream because there's so many random elements that they plot in to make it work, but it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't make sense.
I had another one I was going to mention. Now I can't remember. I might remember later. But I think it was relating to Raylo. But anyway,
Can't get off that.
um, I'd already said it before, but all the ships at the end kind of just seems a bit bland, if you know what
Seems
I mean. Like
tacky. It's tacky.
they just come out of nowhere to save
Yeah.
the day, and yeah,
But I get the message for it though. See, that's the thing. I think the message of that there are more good people in the galaxy than you might believe.
yeah, that's true. But uh, like, I don't think in real life really it would happen that a bunch of people would be charging what are
Can't say
essentially a
real life.
million tanks.
You can't say real life, sadly.
No,
Yeah, you can't use that
and
analogy.
oh man, I keep forgetting. The bit where they make you think Chewie's dead, I hated that so much, and I think that's because they killed Han in the first one, which annoyed me. Then they almost killed Leia in the Last Jedi, but they did kill Luke, and I was like, they killed Chewie. That's what I thought. So I was thinking they're just killing off all the original characters in the worst ways possible.
Yeah, but after knowing that he survives, I didn't think it was that bad.
Well, even I think it's just, I mean, yeah, sure, he survives, which is good, but I think it's just the fact that they make you think he's dead. Just, I
Yeah.
can't, it doesn't sit well with me.
Can
Well, it's
I?
meant to make impactful for Rey. Like she's turned into her dark side and in thus has killed a main, like a person who's been around for ages, a true hero. I think that's what the impact was meant to be, not for audiences also.
Can I add something quickly?
Go for it.
So in the cinema, when I saw that like moment, I'm like, oh, he's not dead because I saw the trailer and I saw him on the Star Destroyer. I knew they weren't going to cut that bit, so the death wasn't very impactful. The death. Um. So yeah, apparently there was a good deleted scene.
Yep.
With Kylo interrogating Chewie.
Yep.
So that would have been cool to see. Well, do you reckon Kylo in his childhood would have known Chewbacca?
Yeah, it has a comic book where he was on the ship with
Probably.
Chewie on the Falcon.
Okay.
Chewie was apparently his like best friend, so maybe that's why they cut it because they like that where it makes sense.
Would have been like Boba Fett and Cad Bane.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, 100%.
Mark, do you have anything else?
You know what? I just had one to say, and then as soon as I thought of it, I forgot it again. This is just typical of me.
Classic Mark.
It's just the most typical of me.
Mm.
I'll let Jack start, and I'm sure it'll come to me.
Probably.
Alrighty, let's begin. Okay, Emperor sucks. Doesn't deserve to be in the film.
Yeah. 100% agree.
His lines are all basically the same from the other movies too. The way he still force lightnings himself to death is another thing I'm sick of. Like he always reflects back at him. It never works. So why does he keep doing this?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right, Mark. It's actually harder than you thought. What was the negatives?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
There's so many that you can't remember them all.
Yeah, there is a lot that I had, but also the whole fleet as a whole with the all one has a planet killing weapon. Just in my head doesn't make sense how each Star Destroyer can have a weapon that deadly.
That's lazy. That is lazy.
It lowers the stakes in my opinion a bit because it's like, well, why couldn't they just do that before instead of the Death Star kind of thing? I also wasn't a big fan of yeah, very true. Mark.
Sorry, it just came to me. I just remembered. And I know that you guys have said, I think you've said opposing things to this before, and I have mentioned it, but Hux, like that they make him a spy.
Yeah.
I've said it so many times. I always liked Hux as a character, and I think he was one of the better characters in my opinion. And he could, if he was like a staunch First Order officer, like I think that would have been made a really great antagonist.
Yeah, but I think he was the only movie that the way you're saying that only feels like he was only in like acting like that in the first one. Because even in Last Jedi, he wasn't that imposing or anything. He was just kind of like the side character of Kylo.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. When I think of like the peak of Hux, I think of that speech he gives on the on Starkiller base.
Yeah, it's the only Hux you keep returning to, which obviously.
Yes, and that's why I'm saying that's another one of those things that in the sequels they could have done a lot better, is made Hux a lot more of a villain.
Yeah, true. But I guess we've already had that with Tarkin and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think they could have made him a bit like Tarkin in that respect, and then had him throughout all three movies instead of just the first one.
Um. Okay. Is that your
Yeah,
negative?
that was the one I forgot.
All right. Cool. I do not like how the First Order troopers are made to look weak again. Like when they're running through
Yeah.
the
Oh,
hallway
yeah.
scene so effortlessly,
Yeah,
getting past everyone just doesn't feel realistic in my opinion. I also didn't really enjoy the desert planet. I forgot what it was.
No.
Yeah,
I
because
thought that was such a nice, refreshing look
Anna.
for a desert planet.
No, I like I didn't mind the chasing apart from they fly now because we already knew that they fly. But I didn't. I don't want to see more desert. I know it's
I agree. We've had so many desert planets.
I know it's refreshing to see a festival celebration thing.
Yeah.
I'm sick of seeing just desert in general, and that side quest with the dagger is pretty bad in my opinion. Like
Is
that,
it Pisana?
yeah,
Yeah.
for some reason. But also, I also didn't really like how when they were on the moon of Endor with when they found the other ex First Order people. Like, how
Yeah.
random is that? Like,
Mm,
the odds of that happening is so 1 in a million. Like, there's
less.
no
Less
way.
than 1 in 1,000,000.
Yeah, that's
There's
one in
so
a
many
million.
planets and so many people on these planets.
It's all what's it called? It's all plot driven in terms of
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense, but they do it for the plot. And her character was just basically a facilitator of for the audience to know that Finn has some sort of force abilities. So I guess she can be a positive for that one, but other than that, she was pretty useless. And again, the horses on the ship, weird, didn't like that.
Yeah.
They wasted the Imperial Guards for Palpatine, in my opinion, when Rey kills him in 2 seconds. I thought they looked really cool again, as always. They all
Same with the Sith troopers, the red troopers.
Yep, I was about to say that too.
What
Yeah,
about the Knights of Ren?
they
Yeah,
actually
that as
did
well.
more in this one than they did in the other movies because
Mm,
But
Ryan
they don't do anything.
No, in this one at least
exactly.
they tried to they would have taken out Kylo if he didn't
They
have
need
the.
to expand. I wish they expanded upon them. That would have been cool throughout the
No,
three movies.
it's interesting. You know, Ryan Johnson. He's like he completely forgot about the Knights of Ren. Another error on his behalf.
Well, JJ just included them in a flashback.
JJ was alluding to
Set
them.
set it up.
One. Yeah, he was gonna do something the next one, and in this one he was probably like, "Bro, I have to show them because everyone loves them, and I love them too. But how can we have them in the story but not change everything? You know what I mean?"
They
So
literally only felt like they were there for Kylo to fight them.
his Knights are like that's what I'm saying though. He set up those flashbacks were so cool with Kylo Ren and the
Mm,
Knights in that first
yeah.
one. That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like if Ryan didn't even touch the second one, didn't come onto it, and JJ just did his whole vision, it would have been a bit more of a coherent, better sequel trilogy, in my opinion.
I agree.
Because this one feels like it's the end one, but also it's the second one because he tries to overwrite the middle one.
Which
So
makes it worse.
which makes it work. Yeah, so I reckon it's an interesting kind of issue at hand that we have because it's like it could have been better, but it wasn't. That's my
Mm.
overall thing. Also,
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
go.
Oh,
Okay.
I think your comment about it being the second one is actually quite interesting because if you think about it, The Last Jedi was set like mere hours after the end of The Force
Mm.
Awakens. So
I don't even think
it
it was
was
hours. I think
kind
it was
of
minutes.
well,
Mm.
yeah, minutes, yeah. So like it is technically well, it's the third story, but really in terms of what we've gotten throughout the saga, it's like we've had time periods, but or time between each installment. So yeah, I do agree. This does definitely feel like a second.
But that's why the Last Jedi feels filler, in my opinion. And I know you hate that, but it just feels like because it's so like not influential from start to end from the period of like what happens to the characters aside from like Snoke and stuff nothing really actually changes. Rey gets a bit of training, Luke sacrifices himself but not in that great of a way. Kylo's still Kylo. The rebels are still on the run and the First Order are still chasing. There's not like a what's it called like a leading thing for this movie to go off. I think that's what also JJ struggled with. they ended that movie on like anything can happen because it was basically the same as the first one almost, you know? Like why have that be the end in the middle of a franchise? That's what I'm saying. If he did his own movie or trilogy, Rian Johnson, that's excluded from a whole canonical thing, it would be probably pretty good because he's a good filmmaker and director.
To be fair though, I will just add JJ set up the end of The Force Awakens like Ryan didn't really have a choice.
Not really.
Like, no, because you can't skip a
Well,
year or 2 years and just have like
I
you
can
could
see
have
what you're
Luke
saying there.
Ray be a fully trained
but-
Jedi all of a sudden.
No, not like that. But you could have had a time jump still where it's like the character, you can like see that the characters have already done stuff between it rather than just go straight on the run again, you know? Feels like the first movie then was a bit a waste of a time again too, apart from destroying the Starkiller base, you know? Go, Mark.
Oh, I was gonna save it for the end, but I guess I'll do it now.
Mm.
Is with Cooper saying that he feels like episode 8 had been railroaded by 7. I would agree with that, but I think that is one of the negatives, and I've said it every single of the sequel rewatch episodes, that I cannot understand why they're not written together.
Mm.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
Because I can see why Cooper's saying that Rian Johnson was basically left with only one way to do it.
But if JJ
But
his
it's
own,
a trilogy, and if it was all written together and collaborated upon, it would make more sense and it would be a flowing story.
apparently JJ had scripts for other stuff after it too. So that's why I'm like, Ryan apparently didn't even want to look at it. He just wanted to do his own thing. He goes, I don't need to look at it. So I was like, well, it's a bit harsh, you know?
Mhm.
A bit dog on. And then that's why JJ was a bit bitter, I guess, and tried to fix everything in this one from the last because he didn't want anything to stand from that one. But other than that,
I remembered one of the other ones I was gonna say is
I think
Force healing, which I know it's in Mandalorian, but I don't think I really like that concept at all.
I have a fun fact, by the way, for that.
Mhm.
Is that when Ray does it, the same week is the same week that we see Grogu first use Force healing. I thought they deliberately did that at the same time to make audiences be like, oh, it's not just Ray who can do this.
When you say same week, you mean like came
Like,
out in the same week
Mandalorian was
as a cinematic thing or in the timeline?
it actually came out at the same. So I went on the midnight screening, and also Mandalorian came out that. So I went at 12 a.m. obviously, but the night before was the Mandalorian episode where Grogu force sealed. So I watched Mandalorian first, then went to go watch Rise, and then I saw Ray force heal. I'm like, hold on a second. I just saw 2 characters force heal in the span of like hours. What's happening here? This is a bit. It's like someone's talked to them saying, "Put Grogu to force heal." But I think
I don't like the concept of force healing. I'm sorry.
I don't mind it. I just think there needs to be an explanation for how some people can and some people can't, because then it doesn't exclude killing like Qui-Gon Jinn and stuff. Then if Obi-Wan
Because there's so many opportunities it could have been used.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
But I think one of my final points was going to be not having Ben Solo color and dye, and I will explain this more on the scene change because spoiler alert is going to be about that. But I have a bit more layers to it. It goes a bit more than just have him be alive. So also Mark, we forgot the most obvious negative too, aside from Palpatine, Rey Skywalker.
Oh my god, how could I forget that?
So I'll say
That's one of my biggest gripes.
Yeah, so I understand what they did by saying that. They tried to what's it called?
Continue the legacy of the Skywalkers.
Well, my scene change will also lead into this, don't worry. But it doesn't make sense because she's obviously not a Skywalker, but also it's like it feels kind of forced in your face, like you have to call her a Skywalker now.
You have to accept it.
And accept it. There's no like way for you to be like, oh, she can't just be Rey on her own and create her own kind of legacy and the
She
legacy.
can't create her own identity. She has to take one that's already been established and has all this meaning.
Could even say
and simply for just for me with like the idea of family and that if you're if you like adopted, it's something different, but you can't take a last name of someone that you're not related to.
Yeah. And also I reckon it would have been an interesting, especially for now that they're doing a another Rey movie with that kind of stuff. It would have been interesting if she kept Palpatine but made that name become something. You know what I mean? Like not something evil. How
Mm.
interesting would that be? And see the conflict when she approaches people and they see that she has Palpatine in her name, and then they kind of goes into the political side of it, saying, "Oh, you're not a Jedi, you're a Palpatine. There's no way you can, it'd have been interesting." But
Mm.
aside from that, I think that's my main gripes with it. Cooper he's written stuff down, so he'll have some extra stuff that we can maybe add on. But yep, that's my negs.
Okay. Very well done. I liked a lot of what you said, but there was also some things.
Classic.
Yeah, obviously. Okay. I'm gonna speed through this again. There's actually I don't have that many negatives, but I will speed through because I
That's a
know we've
surprise.
kind of been going for a bit. So
He likes this one.
I've already said the stuff that I said before. I didn't like how the Knights of Ren were utilized. I thought they could have been incorporated in a different sense. The dagger as a plot device was awful.
Mm-hmm. Agree.
This was my main gripe. The characters seem to forget the stakes of the movie because they establish at the start 16 hours until the fleet goes out. But you've got so many characters who just kind of give up. And even, okay, here's a good example. Poe and Zori Bliss, they spend maybe 5 minutes of movie time doing scouting on the roof, which is fine. But they're talking about like going out, like Zori's talking about going out and getting off the planet. But it doesn't matter because all the planets are going to be destroyed anyway. So what's the like? And
I don't
then
think it's all of them. And
well,
also,
I know, but they didn't establish that it was not going to be because at the start they said the message was all three worlds will be targeted, but then it was changed to all those. It was surrender or die, surrender or be obliterated. So
yeah,
it was changed.
but it's like you can say that about every movie in a way. They always have stakes, but they always have to do character development to give each one a bit more of a purpose for after it's been resolved.
I know, but just there was just some moments, and I can't recall from the top of my head, but it was like, why are you even the spy scenes? Poe and Finn were so ready to just be dead. And they just kind of didn't even try to bargain or anything. They completely forgot that there was something bigger going on than being killed than like not even trying to reason.
Like the
I
Last
know
Jedi again too. You can say it like that too. It happens all the time in these
it
movies.
does. I know. I thought it was very noticeable.
Yeah.
What else have I got? I'll skip to Ray because I've got one thing I want to say at the end. Raylo wasn't a fan. Don't like it. I have a
Thank you.
positive. Ray Skywalker. I want to talk about this. I'm not disagreeing with you guys because I don't like the idea of Ray Skywalker. However, as I've watched this over and over, I don't. How do I describe this? I find it more impactful the more I watch it. I find it's actually a little bit emotional that she's taking on this name, that she's continuing in this legacy. And I know that was what it was designed for and it was kind of tacky. But I don't know. I didn't like it when I first watched the film, but now I'm kind of okay with it. I don't like the idea of it, but I'm okay with it. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, I get that. I mean, it's not like I don't get the purpose of it. It's just I think it could have easily just not been that.
Yeah,
like
no, I agree.
I agree. I get this what they're trying to do with it, but I just personally can't think I can agree with it.
You could have carried on the name without having to have the name. Like just
Yeah.
carry on the legacy of the Jedi would have been better.
Yeah.
The last negative I have, and I'm interested to see if you guys agree with this. Palpatine seems to change what his end goals are.
I know you're
The
going to
whole film.
Yeah,
The first one was kill Rey.
Kill Rey. Yeah.
Then it was, oh no, I want Rey to kill me so
Yeah.
that I can pass into her. And then it was like, oh no, you both are a dyad. Oh
Now I'm
no,
gonna
I wanna
kill you.
use your force energy to
Yeah.
come alive now. It just changed the whole film.
It's more like he
just
didn't understand what he was going for, and he just kept seeing that there was different aspects that he could have done. It's like
okay. If he's bloody been Snoke and he's just like seen Kylo betray him, why on
But he
earth
wasn't
is he
Snoke.
trusting Kylo Ren to go kill Rey?
He
He
wasn't
knows
Snoke.
he's not going to do it.
But he
And
wasn't
then,
Snoke.
oh. he's I love Palpatine in this movie, but I think just the way he changes his
Means it's
motivations throughout the film is terrible. Terrible execution.
fair enough. But what do you
That's
mean
just
like Mark?
He's not Snoke. Snoke was created by him.
Yeah, but is his what's it called? His mind and everything he was saying was Palpatine.
Yeah.
I don't think so though.
yeah, no, he said I've been every voice you've ever heard inside your head.
Maybe he just
and
meant it in the way that, like, how people said they have eyes and ears everywhere.
No. No.
he was actually Snoke wasn't an actual thing. It wasn't his own entity. It was Palpatine, and that's why I was like, why can't he just? He has so many clone doubles of him. Just put himself into that body. He's pretty tall. Seems pretty viable. Like obviously it's a bit old too, so it's probably not ideal, but still.
Yeah. All right. Anything else to add, or is that all?
I think
I think I'm good.
that's about it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, it's time to give our scores.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're doing that first. All right.
Oh boy. Let's see how we go here. The
I'm
last
really
one.
conflicted on what I should do. Do I give it higher, lower, or equal to 2.2?
Yeah, that's embarrassing. Sorry.
Can't be lower, in my opinion. That's
Mm,
not worse than The Last Jedi by all.
I have always said I like Last Jedi better, even though I just trashed so much on it last week.
Yeah, you've always said it's better, even though I think the main reason why you said that is because Emperor's back.
I think I just dislike this one too much.
Really? I can't. Yeah, but this one's more fun. Anyway, that's opinions, so it's fair enough.
I'm gonna have to come to a decision in the next few seconds.
Yeah, you are. Jack?
What was mine Last Jedi? I think it was like
4.2.
Yeah, this one's 5 flat.
5 flat. Mark?
Nah, you go first.
Oh, okay. I get an 8.3.
Oh my goodness.
You're such a sequel lover.
8.3.
Say it, no.
Such a sequel lover.
Yes, you're such a sequel lover.
I
You
can't help it, I
honestly
like
just
it.
love Disney. You just love.
I
You're
don't
a
know.
Oh,
Disney kid. You're a Disney kid. You
I'm
love
not. I'm not. I promise. I just like the movies.
I think I'm gonna have to go lower.
Well,
I think I'm gonna go
so
with 2.1.
that's criminal.
Lordy, Mark. Oh
That is-
my
How
goodness.
would you put this lower than Last Jedi? Last Jedi is by far a worse film. Oh,
I just think from a film standpoint, it's terrible. Like
the
when you
pacing is much better.
as a
It's
story, like
the end.
as a film story and a story continuing on. And I think the main takeaway from my scores is that Seven Force Awakens was a good launching point, and then the lack of collaboration and creativity is what was the downside of 8 and 9.
In my opinion, if we're talking about sequels as a whole, 7 was just a rehash and a lazy excuse just to reintroduce the Star Wars franchise back to the people. I didn't think it set up interesting characters, but the plot was exactly identical. I thought Last Jedi,
It was, I'll agree. It was pretty much the same as A New Hope.
Last
But
Jedi
I think one, it was solid, and two,
this
it
was
had
such
so
a-
much. It had so much opportunity for the next two. It left me with such excitement, and then it was just ruined.
The Last Jedi threw into hot trash,
Oh
and then
my
and then
God.
Rise just kept lighting the hot trash, but at least it was cool to look at.
At least
Nice
it was cool to
analogy.
look at.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Well,
can't deny the visuals were good.
that concludes the positives, negatives, and the rankings. We'll have a ranking video out next week, I think.
Yeah.
We haven't really discussed it, but I think that's probably something we should do separate from what we've given the scores, because
Too hard
this was not in comparison to other scores into other movies, whereas the actual ranking of it could be.
Mm.
All right. We'll go back to quotes. I haven't got that many this week, so you don't need to worry. There's some very iconic ones. The dark side of a force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. I thought that was a good callback.
Mm-hmm.
The one I said before, I will earn your brother's saber one day, says Rey. The very, very infamous, somehow Palpatine returned. One of the worst written lines I've ever heard in my life.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
That's it. I know.
Have you seen the videos of the cast reacting to that?
Yeah.
Oscar Isaac and John Boyega. Their faces are so funny.
So good.
Lando says Wookiees stand out in the crowd.
Mm.
They fly now.
They fly now.
Always fly.
They fly now. This is my all-time favorite Star Wars quote, and I had to include it just because I love it so much. It's from C-3PO. He says, because Poe's calling out for Finn and Rey when they're in the quicksand, and C-3PO says, "You didn't say my name, sir, but I'm quite all right." C-3PO, I don't know why I didn't include him as a positive. He's awesome in this movie.
Yeah, I've always liked C-3PO as opposed to Jack, who does not.
He's
Another
good.
Sorry, here you go.
He's good in this movie. That's
He
all I'm
is.
saying.
Another C-3PO quote, and Poe says, "We've got to crack this droid's head open and fast." And then 3PO's like, "Pardon me."
I don't get though why he can't translate the Sith language because Anakin wouldn't have programmed him to not do that.
No, but he's probably programmed to be what's it called? A rebellion or Jedi droid rather than Sith.
Maybe.
Yeah. Poe says, "I can't walk out on this war." That's a nice one. 3PO says, "Taking one last look, sir, at my friends," which is kind of funny because I don't know if you've seen the CinemaSins video, but they make mention that none of the people in that room are friends with C-3PO. In fact, he's probably known them for less than a year. Yeah, and they're all mean to him as well. Like, what?
Exactly.
I know, he doesn't deserve it.
Yeah.
Mark, I feel like this is appropriate for you because you like Hux. You know Hux's infamous line in this one. Just do it.
I don't know if I'll get it right, but I am the spy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it I am or I was?
I'm the spy.
I'm the spy.
Yeah. I think, actually, we didn't really talk about this. Kylo's redemption. The moment I think Kylo is redeemed, even before he throws the lightsaber into the water, is when he calls Han Solo dad. He says, he wants to say, "Dad, I'm sorry," but then Han says, "I know," which I think is nice.
I think it's before that though. When he honestly after he gets healed.
No, it is before he throws the lightsaber away, but
No, I'm talking about even before the dad line. Before.
Oh, you reckon?
Okay. In the fight, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, with the Han thing, is he meant to be a ghost? A Force ghost?
A memory.
Memory. I was going to say, because if there was a Force ghost, that would be silly.
Yeah. Good people will fight if we lead them. That's a really powerful line.
Yeah.
Palpatine says, "Do it! Make the sacrifice!
Do it!"
Lando says, "There are more of us. I am all the Jedi. People are rising up all over the galaxy." I really like that one. And the last one, the one that's caused so much controversy, Rey Skywalker. And that's quotes done.
That is pretty bad.
It is, isn't it?
Pretty bad.
Okay. What do we want to do first? All right, let's do scene change. Let's do scene change first.
Damn it. I'm really hanging on for who has more screen time.
I know. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll finish with that. Scene change. Does I know, Jack, do you want to start? Because you were kind of alluding to what you wanted to say before.
Yeah. Mine's pretty obvious. I would probably change a lot of them. However, I would change Ben Solo dying. So my opinion of him transferring his Force essence to Rey, I understand obviously why they did that. By my opinion, it would have been more impactful and meaningful if Rey sacrificed herself to save the Jedi and keep the Skywalker legacy alive, because he is a Skywalker, and it would have been the rise of him to continue Rey's sacrifice and build the Jedi Order. It would have made sense for Ben to carry on the legacy because his actual heritage. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, what if Darth survived, returned, and then became a Jedi again, kind of, you know what I mean? Because he's so young, he would have had so much influence on the galaxy and stuff too. So it would have been unreal to see that, and kind of be a plot twist to show that, like, oh, maybe the whole trilogy was about Kylo, or it could have still been about Rey because she sacrificed it. So it would have been a good kind of, because they're a dyad, it would have made them both interesting.
Well, even I'll just expand on what you're saying. We've seen, there's obviously been the idea of floated around of what if Darth Vader survived Return of the Jedi, and he kind of was in this new world where he was still perceived as bad, but he was a good person. That would be interesting to see with Kylo. He's been perceived as this just psychopath, I guess,
Mhm.
or purely evil person, but now he's taking on a different role.
That's what I'm saying. It would have been different for
Would have
Star
been
Wars.
different.
And it's something we haven't seen. But instead they go with the, oh yeah, let's just force her back to life and kill him because he's, yeah, even though he's a Skywalker. Oh no. Doesn't make sense. It's just annoying. Anyway, that's
What are you talking about? Rey's also a Skywalker.
Oh, jeez.
Mm.
Mark, do you want to do yours?
I only have a few that I'll mention the scenes that I would change. I don't necessarily, well, as I already said before, fake death of Chewie. I just I just don't like it. Just remove it.
Mhm.
Raylo kiss at the end and all that sort of stuff. And
How much you hate
just don't do the whole Palpatine story, please. Just do something original and something that will actually make people want to come back to it.
Mm. Okay, very good. Well, I've taken a different avenue, as I typically do. What's new? I'm gonna say let's change the spy subplot. And I'm not gonna say remove it, but here, and I think you might like this. If you change it, have the spy be someone else. Don't have it be Hux.
Yeah.
But have Hux be the. You can have General Pride doing his thing and whatever, and you can still have the conflict between them. But have Hux kind of be the one who's trying to figure out who the spy is within the ranks.
Yes. That
Have
would be
that be
great.
his story. But then you gotta have. You can have the spy send the information to R2 as well. But since the spy could know more things, have the Resistance make an attempt to go rescue. Use some of the characters like Rose or Connix or even Snap Wexley. Have them coordinate an attempt to go rescue that spy. Get them involved in that story. Make them rather than just hanging around and being there with Leia. Just include them in this story and make it genuine. And maybe that's how. Actually, no. Stretching it to know the location of the Wayfinder. No, just have them rescue the spy. Anyway, that's my idea.
That's a good one. I like it.
Interesting. Yeah.
All right, guys, it is time for the
Yeah, yeah.
final ever
You're gonna lose again, Mark.
installment
You've already won,
of
but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well,
Who
Who
Has
has
More
more
Screen
screen time?
Time?
I hate how you guys link it.
Well,
That's so funny.
Mark's always behind me when I say.
Alright.
So the score
Comedy.
at the moment, not that it matters. Mark has 4, Jack has 7, but I thought, we should still do this.
I wonder if we can do our second draw today.
Yeah.
Well, that's possible. There's actually some pretty hard ones in here. I'll say there are some very difficult ones.
I think I'm gonna do pretty poorly today.
Yeah.
You said that every week.
No, I don't.
Okay. Who has more screen time? Finn or Poe? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Finn.
Damn, we're off to a hot start. Finn has 24 minutes and 45 seconds. Poe, 25 minutes and 45 seconds.
Oh.
All right. Who has more screen time? C3PO or Chewbacca? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
C3PO.
C3PO, 10 minutes 45. Chewbacca, 9 minutes 15.
Yes.
Both of you are correct.
I didn't expect him to have 10 minutes. Wow.
I know. Who has more screen time? Emperor Palpatine or BB-8? That seems such a weird,
The true
comparison.
showdown. Palpatine versus BB-8.
I'll give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1.
BB-8.
Palpatine, 6 minutes. BB-8, I don't know how. 6 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yes.
I was confused. Yeah, I was debating go Emperors because he's obviously a bigger actor.
Mm. All right. Who has more screen time? Leia or Zori? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Zori.
Who'd you say, Jack?
Sorry.
Leia, 4 minutes 15. Zori, 4 minutes 30.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are picking up speed.
Just
Who has
because-
more screen time? Lando or Luke? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Lando.
You said Luke, Jack?
Lando.
Oh, Lando.
I don't
Lando.
know why every time Jack says it, I don't hear anything.
Lando has 3 minutes. Luke 2 minutes 45.
Yes, we're on a
Used to
roll,
be
Jack.
saying at the exact same time, and it's like if we say the same thing, it just gets
Well,
washed.
sometimes I can hear what you both say, and I can kind of lip read as well. But
If I did this, Lando.
Yeah.
well, I thought you finished with Luke.
Luke. No,
Yeah.
that would be like Luke. Yeah.
Okay. Who has more screen time, R2D2 or DO? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Dio.
R2, 2 minutes. DO, 2 minutes 15.
Let's go.
Jack, you are 2 away from a perfect round. That's
Ooh,
never
the
happened
pressure.
before.
Pressure's
That has
on.
never happened before. Mark, you one behind Jack. Who has more screen time? General Hux or Han Solo? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hux.
Hux 2 minutes, Han 1 minute 45.
Yes. Come on.
Wow. Could this be it? This one will stump you.
Yep.
Who has more screen time? Babu Frick or Snap Wexley? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Babu
Snap.
Frick. Ooh.
Oh, Babu. 1 minute 30. Snap 1 minute 45.
No.
Jack went
Let's
8
go.
or 8. That is
Oh,
incredible.
so close to a draw.
Let's
That
go.
was incredible. Oh my goodness.
That was a good round. That was
Congratulations.
fun.
Screen character over alien. Let's go.
Oh, so Jack, you finished the series with 8 out of 11 wins.
Damn.
That's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
know the screen time.
Yep.
Mark, I expect better.
I,
No, Mark, you did well as well.
Yes.
You did
What was it? 4 out of 11.
4 out of 11, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
That's all right. You got a quarter. You got over a quarter.
Yeah.
Oh no, a third, sorry. Got over a third. Hey, no, I hope you guys enjoyed playing Who Has More
Oh,
Screen
that was
Time.
fun.
It was
I've enjoyed getting to see your reactions. It's been pretty all right, guys, that's the end of the rewatch series. No. I
For the
don't have
movies, at
anything
least.
else to say. It was good to see all these movies again. Like
Mm.
as much as you guys don't like the sequels, and I do, and I didn't like some movies. It was good getting to
I think one of
watch.
my highlights of this series was actually rewatching Solo
Yeah.
because that was a lot better than I remember it being.
Yeah.
I like
So
watching that.
for everyone listening, I would encourage you to rewatch it if you haven't.
Yeah, definitely.
And then go rewatch our solo video.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right. Anything else you want to say before we sign off?
It's
No.
a very big thank you for everyone to tune in to
Yes.
the podcast. So yes, that's
Thanks
do
for
appreciate it.
tuning in
Yeah.
every week.
We're only going upwards from here. And we look forward to bringing you some different sort of content starting next week. And then as we move into Ahsoka and towards the end of the year, we'll keep you up to date with everything we're doing here on the Coruscant Knights channel. Big thank you, and we will see you guys next week.
yes,
For now,
sir.
goodbye.
See you,
See you
everyone.
later. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.